Hi, this is Randy Finney with Right Side of the Chart, and today is Thursday, December 14th, 2017. Wanted to take a look at gold, GDX, and go through the components of GDX. Not all of them. I've gone through all the components and flagged some of my favorite looking setups. So for those of you that prefer to trade individual stocks, and I'll say this, going back in time, usually if I get the call on gold and the miners right, I can outperform GDX by a pretty good margin by sniffing out the most bullish stocks within there. But with that being said, if you prefer the relative safety and liquidity and simplicity of trading ETFs, the gold mining stocks tend to move very much in concert and synchronicity. When they rally, they all tend to rally. Of course, some more than others, and again, that's the point for this video. So if you're not interested in the individual stocks, just the beginning, I'll give you an update here on gold and GDX. I won't go into or I should say gold and via GLD and gold futures. I won't go into detail because I just did that yesterday in a video. So here's a daily chart of gold. Not a standout screaming buy type bottom. Doesn't mean gold can't go up a lot. I usually like to see those divergent highs and divergent lows on the daily time frame when we don't have that. But what we did have, and this was pointed out the other day, is we had the first oversold reading in quite a while right there. And I went over this again in a video the other day and showed you all the rallies that have come over following these oversold readings. So far, so good. A nice bounce, an impulsive move. And when I look at this daily chart, I'd certainly like to see these indicators, the PPO get back above the zero line, the RSI get back above the 50 level. But even if we're looking at just a short-term rally, I'll go over those levels right here. From the daily chart, you can see this right around the 120-ish level. I have it at 119.97 there. Captures a few of the recent reaction highs as well as or reaction lows, I should say, as well as a gap back here. So that's call it around 120. That's certainly a resistance level and a target. And then we had this uptrend line here, and I pointed that out the day it broke right here. It was containing, I should say, prices going all the way back to early October, and then we gapped down below there, and that was a catalyst for this sell-off that we just had. So point being that those are the two most logical near-term targets on GLD if you're swing trading and you just want to get in and get out. Now let's zoom on down to the intraday charts. That'll give us a little more clarity. This is a 60-minute chart, and we do have, which as you guys know, I like to see divergences on the 60-minute time frame when swing trading. So we did have bullish divergence underneath this bullish falling wedge pattern right here. Broke out of the bullish falling wedge, and the move has been impulsive lately. Let's zoom it on down a little bit more to a 15-minute chart, and now you can see some levels if you're trying to game these bounces. Since gold broke out, and even before it broke out, I've been trading gold futures, and gold's been trading pretty well to the technicals. You can see what's happened here. These are all levels. So this was the bullish falling wedge. You can see again, confirm with divergence, and you have these resistance levels, and you can see the reactions as each one is hit. You get a pullback, then a thrust up once that resistance was broken, that 118.59, boom, right up to that 119.27. And that's a natural resistance level because that's the bottom of a gap. And so we pulled back, and you can see here's a line to watch if you are long. This might trigger a short-term sell signal, maybe another pullback to 118.59. Although I suspect the action in gold recently has been pretty bullish, and if we do break down, I'm not too keen to short that. I think it'd probably be a short-lived breakdown, and I'm looking for a backfill of that gap. So from here, if you want to look at the next buy signal, it would be a break over the 119.30ish area. Probably best to wait for these reaction highs back here the other day, about 119.35 to go. Once that goes, we're into the gap. A gap once entered is usually backfilled, so that would take us up to 119.86. And again, this is just the micromanaging. If you're swing trading, especially any leveraged instruments, you can game these little reactions here. But ultimately, I see a move up here to about the 120.75-ish level in gold. And let's take a look at futures. Okay, I posted this chart in the trading room today, and I've revised some of the lines. Okay, let me took off those annoying crosshairs. I still have a line here, but you can see these are the levels to watch now. I posted this today. Actually, that was on the front page. That pullback to the 120 1253 level, mentioning that as a long, and that's where I recycled back in, and boom. So far, a pretty nice bounce, but now we need to take out this level. You can see it at about 1261. That's resistance right there. That's the previous reaction highs. I think it'll be taken out, and then the next target will be 1264, almost 1265. I have it at 1264.84, and then finally, I think this is where this move will go. This is sort of looks like flagging type action. It's not a perfect bull flag, but the nature of a bull flag or bullish pennant is an impulsive move up, which you call the flagpole, and then a period of consolidation, and then a breakout above that flag. And you can see that would take us right up to about to my final near-term target. So this is what I'm looking for at this point, is a swing trade up here at about the 1273 level, and that should roughly correlate with that level in gold, GLD. And if it doesn't, you might want to chart futures. Investing.com has some great free charts for futures if you don't have a futures account. So let's move on here. Okay, GDX traders, the metals will, or the miners will usually follow the metal. There can be temporary disconnects, but you can see the levels, and I believe, yeah, this was already shared. We already hit this. I had these first two near-term targets posted on the site recently. Hit that 2181 level and then that 2223 level, and had a nice pullback. You can see this is technical analysis. We overshot it. This is what I call a momentum-fueled overshoot. We had that huge green candle. That's talk about momentum. That's just a straight up pop, and it's not only rare, it's more than common to see an overshoot of a resistance level. I think that was a pretty good resistance level, 2223. That's why I had it there, and we popped through it, but failed to hold it on the next candle and came back down. And look at that, kissed up on a perfect back test here to back to that 2181-ish level, and then boom, move back up. So again, this is how you can micromanage these trades if you're trading Nugget or GDX in an account. And ultimately, if the metals continue to move higher, then I think GDX will as well. Let's see what's here on the daily chart. Pretty, you can see that big green impulsive candle, and of course right up to resistance around 22.28. You can see the resistance level. I put this line here. I created that line over a month ago because we had a lot of reaction lows here, and once we broke below it, support was broken. Now we've rallied back up. Support once broken becomes resistance. So this is a level we need to work through. And I will say there's quite a bit of overhead supply here, resistance. We need to get on up there. If we can punch back above those recent highs, start working our way up within here, next stop looks to be about 23 on GDX. Now let's just go through my top picks. Here are all the holdings of GDX on this watch list here. There's 39 total, and I have flagged 26 of those that stand out to me right now. So we'll go through these in order that I have them flagged, which happens to be by market cap. Here's Newmont, one of the largest in GDX. There's what I like to see on a daily time frame, bullish divergence on both the RSI and the PPO. You can see there the divergent low. There's a downtrend line that'll need to be taken out for the longer term bullish case. And we also have resistance right here at about, give or take, 3571, 3570-ish. And then all these lines on the chart are additional resistance levels. So looks like we're popping above that 3571 level right now. If we can continue to build on those gains, I'd expect a reaction here on the next tag of this trend line. And then if the bullish case continues to firm up in gold, a breakout above this downtrend line, and then we'll start looking towards targeting the previous highs in Newmont. Barrick, ABX. Again, you'll look on the left of the charts, you'll see my trading style is pretty simple. In the last couple years, I've been more apt to go long the miners than to look for short ops. And you can see all the divergent lows marked. And it's pretty simple. I say wash, rinse, repeat. Just wait patiently for these divergent lows to set up, and not just one stock. You have to look at the entire sector. I have to make a bullish case for gold, a bearish case for the dollar, and then a bullish case for the GDX, and then go down within GDX and make sure these leading mining stocks also confirm the bullish case, which I think they do here in Barrick. So again, last divergent low back here, breakout back test, and then boom, nice rally. And that's what we're looking for here. I could see one more thrust down just looking at the posture of the PPO right now. So it may or may not happen. If it does, it would look something like this. We might come down here a little bit more, work our way down within this falling wedge. And ultimately, the next longer term buy signal would be a breakout above that downtrend line or this wedge pattern. But again, I like the fact we're at support with bullish divergences in place. GOLD, Randgold, there's stock at support. There is divergence. It's not drawn out here. I didn't have time to mark up every chart here to update all these, but there it is. There's that bullish divergence I like to see. Just like we had a little small, it wasn't a very big divergent low back here, but it was a very big rally that followed. So it doesn't take much. And that's, again, a large part of my trading style. That's really, if you went long there, that was the end of that run right there. So pretty nice run in GOLD. KGC, Kinross, there it is, bullish divergence at support. I can't ask for much more than that when trading. They all don't work out, but that is objective. Going long at support, you can see the line there, pretty well defined when you go back to the left. If that support doesn't hold, if this just proves to be a little bounce, maybe these divergences continue to expand a little bit. Maybe this stock comes down. The next support's all the way down here about 320, but that's a very solid level. If and when we get there, I'll be looking at gold, GDX, and everything else to see if we have a long entry at that time. But if not, if we take off from here, because you can see there's some mixed signals. We had a very big divergent high right here. You can see the negative divergence right here at this point. Then we went on to break down and back test this channel. So I'm going to give you guys the glass half full case, which I've been doing, but keep in mind there is a glass half empty case to be made for gold in the metals. I think Joe Friday has put up a bearish case for gold that could play out. And what I'm looking at here is a much larger pattern, larger in scope, the much larger divergences than this bullish divergent low right here. So breakdown, back test, and so far a move down. And that pattern would certainly project to more downside. But like I said, right now I'm seeing at least very near term some bullish developments. I'm going to go with those until and unless those are foiled. But I wanted to point that out on KGC and some other ones that I'm seeing out there too. AUY, there's the nice support level around $9 roughly. I have it at $8.98 here. You can see a divergent low, bullish divergence. The PPO starting to curl up. It hasn't yet turned up and crossed over, so that divergence is not confirmed. But either way, you're here at support. It's objective to go long around the $9 area with a stop somewhat below for a swing up to about that 1067, which is the top of that range. Percentage-wise, that's about a 18% gain. And of course, if that gets taken out, here's a downtrend line that comes in, and that would be bullish. If that line gets taken out, we might run all the way up here to about 13 and a quarter. BTG, Mr. Stock Fox in the trading room just mentioned this one as one of his favorites, and you can see a nice symmetrical triangle there, breakout, and an impulsive move so far on that breakout. There is some resistance here. You always got to look at these previous reaction highs. You can see quite a few of them right there, right around 290 where we stopped today. So again, there's a little more work to be done here to firm up the bullish case. Some reactions right above there too, around about $3. So we'll call it from 290 to $3. There's a resistance zone. If it can break out of there, continue right on through there, then you look for these previous reaction highs. Actually, there's some highs and lows there. Around 320 would be my next target, and then you're targeting the previous highs, 355 up to about 365 or so. SBGL, Sibane Gold. This one has a little bit of work to do in my opinion, or it should. I would love to see it come on down here. One more thrust down and have the PPO turn up. You can see this trend line has acted as support. We may or may not get there as long as you get close. Sometimes I don't try to fish out, hold out for the very last penny. I'll buy a little bit above just in case the sector starts to rally. And this one's down today. So here's one that you're not chasing. A couple have already popped recently and moved, 5, 8, 10% in the last couple of days. But this one has yet to. So I like this one anywhere from around current levels down to that trend line with a stop somewhat below it. And you can see I should have added and extended this divergence here. You can see the divergence forming. Targets, I should have had this one marked up. 566. I might have to revise this one. I'll have to look at it. If you guys take it and I don't put it up as an official trade, just let me know and I'll give you a chart with my thoughts. Endeavor Mining, EDV.TO. The TO means Toronto Stock Exchange. That one looks just like the what was that, BTG? I think I showed you a minute ago. Nice symmetrical triangle pattern with a breakout. Not a lot of oomph on the follow through so far. The day of the breakout was pretty impulsive, but it was pretty stretched to get there. And what I'm looking at on this one, it looks to me like that one broke out of a bull flag to get there. This is a flagpole. This is your flagging action right there. And that's about the measured move of the flagpole. So this one may need to digest those gains, come back in, back test the top of the triangle. That would be an objective entry, and then boom, off to the races. If it falls back below that trend line, especially on a closing basis, not a good sign. You may want to just cut your losses at that point. Keep it tight. Because this may prove to be a dead cat bounce in this correction that we've been in on gold and these mining stocks. So again, a case can be made for both ways, but I'm favoring the bullish case right now. Here's support right here, about 594. My apologies, this was AGI, Alamos Gold. I like this one a lot. Look at that. Look at all these reactions here on that 595-ish level. Numerous reactions. We had what was looking like a symmetrical triangle or descending triangle. I had to move through that trend line. Let's just remove this uppermost trend line. That's not too important. I don't try to force anything if it doesn't fit. In fact, we could probably put a horizontal line there and that might look a little better. So here's a simple strategy. Buy this one at support. You have divergence right now on this most recent low, and you have it at a very solid, very well-defined support level. And this is TA 101, Technical Analysis 101. You buy on a pullback to support, and you sell at resistance unless you're expecting a breakout of that resistance level. So whether it pans out or not, I can't make any promises to that, but I can promise you that's an objective entry. If you can buy it down here around the $6 level with a stop not too far below, tuck it away, and you might be able to take that one all the way up to about the 875 level, and that would be a run of about 50%. So not bad. So if you're going for a 50% upside target, and there's certainly some levels in between, guys. I should clarify that if you're interested in this one, or if I add it as an official trade, I'll put some intermediate targets, but I think longer term, you can see that's been the pattern. Come to the bottom of the channel, go up to the top of the channel. So for a 50% upside, you can give yourself a 10, even 12% stop loss and still have a very favorable risk to reward ratio. Just keep your position sizes kind of light because these miners are very volatile, as you probably know. AUI, Yamana Gold, nice bullish falling wedge, confirmed with positive divergence, breakout, rally right up to resistance. You can see the previous reactions there. But it's dancing around support, just bounced off support now. Here's a level right here. I'll give you that number in just a second here, 278-ish, it looks like. That's the top of this recent trading range. So it needs to break above 278. If it does so, then the next stop here is all the way up about 318, and then all the way up here to about 367. So that one looks good too. DGCTO. Detour Gold, that's again Canadian company, and you can trade that one on the U.S. exchanges via the symbol DRGDF. That's on the pink sheets in the U.S. And I also, going back to EDV on the Toronto exchange, I think that was Endeavor, you can trade that one on the U.S. exchange on the pink sheets, meaning if you have a U.S. broker with the ticker EDVMF. All right, and again, that was just to loop back. Endeavor. So Endeavor's US ticker is EDVMF. All right, so back to Detour Gold. Nice little chart. Bullish divergence right here. PPO starting to curl up. Look like it's about to be confirmed. Not at support or anything. We don't really have a buy signal yet, but if you want to take this one with a stop somewhat below the recent lows, it looks good to me up to about that 1470 area at least, and then possibly more again, depending on whether or not this rally gets any legs. All right, PAAS, one of my favorites. I love these silver stocks. I've traded these things for years. Sometimes they lag a little when gold starts to take off. They are components, by the way, of GDX, and I've mentioned this before. GDX, the gold miners ETF, if you pull gold out of the ground, a lot of places you're going to find silver too. So a lot of these miners do both, just like the gas, oil producers. You pull oil out of the ground, natural gas is right there with it. So, a lot of them do both. Same story with the mining stocks. So that's why you have several, these silver companies. Or Pan American Silver Corp is a component of GDX. And there's a nice little wedge type pattern. Um, we could draw that trend line there. We could maybe tighten it up to something like this. But either way, I have that divergent low that I like to see. I have it at support. This is a support zone here, but it held this line. It broke briefly below 1448 and recovered. I like that. This one, if it pops, this sucker can run. As you can see back here, I think we're along a good part of that rip. And I can see this one working all the way up here to about 1954. It's only a $15 stock right now, so don't underestimate that move. I'm using log scaling. That's about a 28% gain right there if that does happen. A few more. We're okay on time. I've got about not even a dozen more. OGCTO. I like this one. Oh, there it goes. Waiting for the chart to load. Not, I wish I could say it was at support. It's not. However, we're seeing a very impulsive move. This divergence, you can see strong potential divergence down here below on the PPO and the RSI. There it is. So you have this divergent low. Stock's been reversing. This divergence will be confirmed soon. Even if we just bounce back up, I do expect a reaction there about that 329 level. That would be my first target. But that's a pretty decent move from 311. Again, on a $3 stock, if you get a 20% run, a 20-cent run, that's a pretty good move. So somewhere up there, a little reaction at 329. And again, if the sector is moving up and rallying, next target would be 355 and possibly beyond. I'll revisit these down the road if this rally starts to get some legs. NGD, New Gold, there's a downtrend line to watch. You could even draw it like this if you wanted to, a little bullish falling wedge pattern. We don't have the divergence, but we are oversold. You can see what happened every other time we became oversold on this stock. It had nice rallies, so there's one to watch. And HL, Hecla Mining, I like this. It's at support. You do have divergence, not drawn out there, but it's small positive divergence. There we go. Draw that line there. Draw a line down there. There's your divergent low right there, bullish divergence. This one looks good all the way back up to this 474 level, and it's only at 381 now, so that would be about a 24% pop. Let's just see if there's anything on the weekly that stands out. Yeah, pretty nice support. That's why I had that support level there. You can see it goes back on this 10-year weekly chart. A lot of reactions there. So, and oversold. Well, you want to buy this stock, at least in the past. This oversold reading right here was just a divergent low. You can see there was bullish divergence at this low, but you go long on these oversold readings in this stock. Even during the bear market, you did pretty good. So again, don't get married to any of these. Use stops. Don't put too much into any of these because these guys can go up and down double digits in any given day. I've seen it many a time. Cuts both ways. Tahoe Resources, nice at support, 424-ish, maybe a hair lower, but it's been dancing around that support level. Strong divergences. We had a divergent low right here at this point, and boom, this thing popped. Just try to tell you. Call that a dead cat bounce, call it what you want. That was a 66, almost 60% rally right there off this divergent low. This is a much larger, more powerful divergent low. We're at that same support level now. Minimum target, I think, would be this downtrend line, and we can probably hit that $7 level again. So there's a lot of potential in this one. And remember, guys, as I'm doing this, I'm almost done. We've got a few more here. I'm going down the line in descending order of market cap on my favorites. You get down to these smaller market caps. Newmont, for example, where we started, was an $18.4 billion company. We're now on Tahoe, which is a $1.4 billion company. We're going to get down to under a billion in market cap here in these next few here in a minute. Point being, the smaller the company is, the larger the gain and loss potential. So that goes hand in hand. Just keep that in mind with your position size when you're going with these smaller names. You don't want to put as much money into a Tahoe as you do a Newmont or GDX, the ETF, which is much more diversified. All right, CDE, nice divergent low. I haven't updated this chart. Apologize for that. But I flagged it just because I trade this stock and I've traded it for years. If the miners get some momentum going, and especially with these silver miners, this is a silver miner, this stock can run. Here was a divergent low back here, and that run was about 921% right there. These may not look like much, these rips and dips that are in here, but again, with log scaling, do not underestimate the scope of how much this stock can rally when it does. So if it does pop and we have that daily divergent low, minimum, I see this one going up here to 793. Backfill that gap there, about 825 after that, and then maybe up here around the 950 level, and quite possibly more. Again, it just depends how much we get going here with the mining stocks. AG, another silver stock. This one can fly as well. I like it. It just broke out. Here's a nice downtrend line. And then a big impulsive breakout. It's consolidating today, pulling back a little bit. It's got some work to do with some overhead resistance levels. And I know I have a lot of lines on this chart, but I'll have to come up with some targets for you later. It's too busy now, and I want to cut the video short as possible, so we'll talk on that one later, but I do like it. SMF.to, SEMAFO, Toronto Exchange. Let's see, for you U.S. traders, you can go with SEMFF. That trades on the pink sheet, same company. This one's starting to crack above. You can see it's been in this price channel. So the story here was, more importantly, it's this big divergent low back here. We had strong bullish divergence here at this low. We put in, matched those equal lows right there. So prices made equal lows while prices made higher, or the indicators made higher lows. That is positive divergence right there. And then it went on to break out, back test that downtrend line. It's been moving sideways within this price channel. So breakout at price channel will bring us up here to challenge at 364 resistance level. It's also the bottom of this gap right here. And then if we can pop above there, we'll most likely backfill that gap up to about 391. And it's also, there's a lot of blue skies ahead on this one, I think, if it can clear that 391 level. But again, it all depends on where gold goes and where the rest of the sector goes. You're not going to see one of these stocks. Anything's possible, but you're not going to see this one fly up here with the sector continuing lower. SSRM, another silver stock that flies when it goes. Divergent low right here at support. You can see these previous reaction lows right here. So here's one at support with some divergence. And again, if the sector gets traction, this one can probably work its way back up to that $11 level there over time, and it's only trading at 837 right now. TXG.to, Torex Gold, so that trades on the Toronto Stock Exchange. I could not find any U.S. listed shares, so if you want to trade this one, you'll have to have the ability to trade Canadian shares in your brokerage account. Nice divergent low at support. I like to see that. You can see these reactions back here, 1142. So you have bullish divergence at support. Objective to go long somewhere right above this support level with a stop somewhat below. And first target from this one be about the 1450-ish area there. And then you have this downtrend line to contend with, and then that 1762 area. FIVTO, Fortuna Silver Mines, again, trades on the Toronto Exchange, but if you're here in the US, ticker FSM. And that's actually an NYSE listed stock, so a little more liquidity and whatnot there for FSM. I'll show you the chart in a second, but this is FVITO, which is in the GDX. You can see nice breakout, well-defined downtrend line right there. Bullish divergence below. You can see the bullish divergence breakout right up to this 640 resistance level, which is my first target that was hit today. Needs to take that level out, and then the next stop to me looks to be about 788, then 914. Let's show you that FSM. I don't even think I've marked the chart up yet. No, there it is. Same chart's going to look identical. So again, if you're here in the US, that's what you want to trade. Let's see. Four more to go. SAND, Sandstorm Gold Limited. There's a support level here around 426. It briefly dipped below and it shot back up. And I like to see that. That's a fake out. Usually you see a break of support and then a quick reversal back in. That's a bear trap. Sucks in some shorts, shakes out some of the weak-handed longs. Reversed, came up to the top of that trading zone, took out the previous reaction high. And this one's still going. I don't see any resistance now at this point. There is a reaction high here to contend with, but I think this one looks good up to about the $5 level. And even though it's at 474, that's still a decent pop, another 5% or so. And of course, if $5 gets taken out, that $5 level, I'd expect a reaction there. But whether we get it or not, if they take out $5 with conviction, that would be bullish. Then this one will probably go up and make a run at those previous all-time or multi-year highs. GUYTO, this one again, Toronto Stock Exchange. So you can trade this under the ticker GUYFF in the US. That's on the pink sheets, GUYFF. But these are the shares that are within GDX. And there's a little bit, I probably should add a little line here because you can see these reaction highs here around 490. It needs to take that out. If it pops above 490, 525 is your next stop. Then this downtrend line, and then just above that 614. So those are your targets. Nice divergence at the lows here. You can see making a double bottom equal lows with the indicators making higher lows. That's bullish divergence. So that one, has some room to run there. I like it. HMY Harmony Gold, nice downtrend line to watch. This one has not broken out yet. If I don't have an alert, I'm going to move it up a little to avoid any whipsaws and set an alert. I may have already set one there, but it can't hurt. So Harmony, break above that trend line, probably take us up to challenge these recent highs right here. Reaction highs, that's about 217. It's at 176 right now. So you're looking at about a 24% pop if it gets there. And again, if there's some traction in this rally, if it continues to go, next stop is all the way up here, about $3. A lot of meat on that bone. Again, if these pan out, don't get married to them if they don't, but don't underestimate how far these things can go, how fast, how overbought they can get if gold starts to catch a bid. MUX, McEwen Mining, here's one nice divergent low. Look at the bullish divergence forming. It's starting to move up here. We have some resistance levels to contend with, but ultimately I can see it working its way up here at about 269 if the gold trade gets some traction here. Okay, that's it. This has been those are my favorite picks right now as of now in GDX. Some of those may become official trades. If you have any questions, drop me a line in the trading room. And if anything changes, I've had a lot of interest in the gold and gold mining stocks lately. People have asked for updates. If I see anything that changes, I'll let you know. As of now, I remain near-term bullish on the metals, and I did say this recently, a few weeks ago, that the next, when gold was still drifting lower and I was staying away from it, I said the next rally in gold will most likely come during the next correction in the stock market. So that's how I'm positioned right now, or at least what my near-term view is. Bearish on equities. There's still some work to be done there, but it looks pretty good. Bullish on gold and precious metals. All right, this has been Randy Finney with Right Side of the Chart. Hope